Hey patrons, it's Johannes from Noisebud and snowy Sweden. You see the snow outside? It's Christmas soon, so the snow is here, hopefully to stay. Today I'm releasing Shape2 Advanced Alpha 6. I thought I was done adding new features, but it turns out that we needed to add a couple more things to this thing to make it perfect. And this is not a complete walkthrough. I'm gonna leave the link to the walkthrough video that I did with the Alpha 5 in the description of this post, so you can watch that as well if you need to see what all the controls are doing. I'm just gonna talk about the new stuff, the things that have changed. First off, there you can see that some stuff have changed position. Natural 30 that used to be in the middle of the harmonics section, that is now called harmonics, is now placed up here in the upper right corner. It says natural 30. It still does the same thing, but I just moved it because the harmonic section has some new features too that I'm going to talk about. And I added, because Bob Mack didn't like the black and white thing, and I get it. I love it because it really makes me see when the plugin is active or not. But I added a little switch down here, so you can turn that off by doing like that. Now that feature is turned off, so the plugin will have its colors, no matter if it's in bypass or not. There's one place where it's not that way, and it's this: the reset button will actually become black and white. And I thought that I leave it because then at least you have some indication of if it's active or not. Even if you still have a meter, you have a meter in between these two controls, below control and the threshold. There's a meter that will show you the amount of how many percent the dry and wet, the dynamic dry and wet control is at. When that meter is on top, then it's 100% and 0 in the bottom. And that makes me want to talk about the new stuff about the dynamic bypass. In other plugins that I made, I think that I have found a good setting that actually works in pretty much all situations with the attack and release of the dynamic bypass, like in Talk, for example, or in Cozy. That works really well, and you don't have to dial that in. In Shape2 Advanced, however, you actually there's a lot of situation when I just wanted kind of just the attack doesn't need to go full on in like 1 millisecond. It can take a half a second or even a second. So I added another menu. So when you click this button to the right of the below, you get control for that. So it divided into two sections: the detection and response section. The detection controls the the meter that's around the threshold, where you set the threshold. This controls how fast that meter is, and also where so you can slow down that, so it will take a while for the signal to go from full on to 0. And by that, it's easier to set a threshold that suits the project. I'm gonna demo this with a slower track today. I have been demoing this with techno and stuff like that before. Today I'm gonna use a track from my friend Sven, who is an amazing mixer and producer. He makes just incredible stuff. You will have a listen to what he's producing. And this is a track he made when he's an artist himself. Normally I do work with him when he have done mixes for other artists, but this was his own project, and I mastered this, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago, He decided to go with, I think he decided to master it himself later, so this is not the released version. I'm gonna use my master for this demo. Thank you, Sven, for letting me use your music. It's incredible. You will just listen to his string arrangements and yeah, all the things, really. The drums, everything. It's supposed to sound a bit like the 50s, 60s kind of vibe. So that's what it is. We're gonna use a lot of compression for the low end with Shape2 Advanced today. So it will take away some of that 50s, 60s feeling and bring it into maybe a more modern kind of vibe. So I'm gonna demo this function with that track, but that's later on. Then we have changed the harmonics section. You can, in Alpha 5 I had removed a function that just took the created harmonics from the actual compression and wave shaping algorithm. So I took the first harmonic and filtered the rest out, and you can mix that in. I changed that in Alpha 5 to a completely synthesized harmonic, but that was based on heavy filtered noise, and that was cool because you didn't add any resonances. But then I missed the resonances, and so I brought that back, and then I missed the synthesized thing in some situations, you know. So I decided to make a switch, so you can switch between the two. So you got that in the middle. That's used to be the natural 30 button, but now it's, when it's in the up position, it's the original created harmonics from all the processing in the plugin, and when you click it, then it is the synthesized pink, filtered pink noise kind of harmonics created. So that's a big change. I also changed the knock amount. Let's bring on the colors just for, because it looks prettier. I changed how the knock works because it was so dependent on the original dynamics that it didn't work with certain materials. So I pretty much redid it from the, yeah, I just redone everything in it from the build it from the ground up. Sorry. It works in a bit of a different way. It sounds better, and it does. You can hear it in the last version. It was almost like you needed really big speakers to be able to feel it, and that was hard to dial in. Now you can hear it a little bit more. It goes a bit higher up in frequency. I think it went up to 60 hertz in the last in Alpha 5. Now it's go up to 80 hertz. So it's a big. It has a bit more. Yeah, you can hear it, and it's there's one difference since it doesn't follow the original dynamics. The envelope follower works in a different way. It tries to find transients in the low end and just burst out that noise in the beginning of those transients. But that means that the signal needs to be, let's say that you have a kick and a bass playing at the same time. The kick needs to be higher in level for the algorithm to find the transient, because it needs a little bump in the waveform, and so it doesn't work when the bass line or the bass is playing at a higher level than the kick drum. That can be just good to know. I don't think that in music, that's often jazz and stuff like that, when you don't have this big, huge kick drum, but you have a bass playing that is actually higher in level. So in those situations, you probably don't want to add a lot of noise in the low end to enhance the punch of the kick. So it's not an issue But it could be, let's say that you do a dubstep thing or a drum and bass thing where you have this huge low end sine wave with a lot of effects playing and pushed hard, and you have just a tiny little kick under. Then it probably won't work either. Just to know that it works lovely in techno and trance and stuff like that, as long as you don't have a lot of low end playing at the same time as kick. And if you have made a good mix, so you made room for the kick, even if the bass is higher in level, then it probably work okay as well. I haven't tried that, but in theory it should. Okay, I think that's the new. Yep. Those are the new things in Alpha 6, and let's start in bypass, and we're just gonna listen to Sven's mix first, so you get a feeling how it sounds. Here we go.
We grew up at a small farm in the Nordic sun. You were my older sister, I was 5. Mom and Dad didn't stay together, something broke within. You looked deep into my eyes and told me it was because of me. It hurt to my bones. I can't blame you, no matter what you did.
Yeah, sorry for stopping in the refrain in the chorus. It's a lovely track. As I say, I'm gonna link to it so you can listen to it on Spotify. Even though my master is better, of course. Only kidding, Sven. All right. Let's apply a huge amount of compression to this until it sounds bad, and then we're gonna use the new detection and response control to dial in a setting that works in the breaks, so it doesn't turn on the crazy compression just for a little, just because the drummer just touched the pedal of the kick, for example. All right, here we go. So we're gonna activate this. We start with envelope, the envelope at 0, so we just can listen to the crazy amount of compression that I apply.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. No matter what you...
Yeah, that doesn't sound too good. All right, now we're gonna dial in the envelope follower so that we bring back some of that, the original envelope of the low end.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. We met in London.
All right, let's go to breaker. I think it was this one. Let's see how that sounds.
Hurt to my bones still. I can't blame you, no matter what you did.
No, it wasn't that one. Let's see if it's this one.
But it's gone.
Yeah. This is one of those places where the plugin becomes active just because there's a touch of a string on the bass, and that just triggers the threshold. So we will see if we can dial in a setting so that it doesn't get so obvious that the plugin turns on and off dynamically. So let's see how that sounds right now.
No matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, but it's gone.
You hear that, and you can see that the plugin becomes active because it gets its colors back.
But it's gone for.
And the level of the low end's just up. So let's dial in something here. Let's start by setting a slower attack. Actually, I'm gonna set a loop, so we're gonna listen to this over and over again, so I can make a setting that works.
No matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive. No matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive. No matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive.
If you look at the meter down here, when that hit comes, you can see that it's no longer jumping up to 100%. It's down at like 20, and it already sounds way better. Let's have a look at that again.
No matter what you said, it's gone.
Instead of if we have the attack at the fastest setting.
No matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive.
Then you get that burst of just the level of the low end goes up. So let's use a slow attack, and we're gonna see how that sounds. We make the loop a bit longer so we can hear the start of the chorus that comes after this as well.
No matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive. Move on. Life is way too good. No matter what you.
I think that works pretty well, actually. Let's have a listen again.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too good. No matter what you.
With that roll coming, maybe we can use an even slower attack. This goes up to 1 second, so let's put it at, yeah, let's try 1 second and see, or maybe 700 or something, somewhere there like that. See how that works.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too good. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short.
Now the release seems a bit too fast, because yeah, you can see when the music actually starts again and gets more intense, you can see how the meter goes up and down, and I don't want it to go away. That I still want a lot, even if the signal goes below the threshold. I want some of that compression left. So let's increase the release time. So we're at a little bit over a second, like that, and see how that works.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too good. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. No matter what you did, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short.
Those strings arrangement, he's amazing. Well, all right. I think this works. Let's listen from the start in just a couple of bars, so we'll see that this setting actually works on the whole track. I'm not gonna listen to the whole track. I normally would do that, but this is a demo video. You have to imagine me listening to the whole thing. All right, here we go.
We grew up at a small farm in the Nordic sun. You were my older sister, I was 5. Mom and Dad didn't stay together, something broke within.
You can see the meter in the intro where it's not as intense as in the end of the track. You can see the meter moving up and down, and it's a bit of too much bringing the plugin in. Not that I really can hear it, but I want more of that compressed low end. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase the release time of the detection. So now we're on the detection side instead. And that means the meter that you have around the threshold control, which is this control, if you can see my mouse pointing, this one. Have a look at the meter around that when I'm changing the detection, attack, and release, and you can understand what this control does.
You were my older sister, I was 5. Mom and Dad didn't stay together, something broke within.
I think you get the idea. So you can slow down both the attack. I often don't use the attack on the detection. I leave that at 0 and use the attack on the response instead. But the release, that's really useful in this scenario when we have a more less dense intro than later in the song where the intensity goes up. This could be really cool to have a slow release so that we stay above the threshold for a longer time. So I'm gonna experiment with it. Right now it's on the max position, which is 2 seconds.
We grew up at a small farm in the Nordic sun. You were my older sister, I was 5. Mom and Dad.
As you can see, we have stabilized the dynamic wet and dry by just slowing things down. So this setting probably works for the whole track. I'm gonna test it on the breaks before the choruses, so I'm sure that it works.
It hurt to my bones, I can't blame you, no matter what you did.
That it left a little bit too much of the compression when there's not supposed to be any, so let's slow it down a little bit.
It hurt to my bones, I can't blame you, no matter what you did. It hurt to my bones, I can't blame you, no matter what you.
That's better. I probably would have spent a couple of a minute more to dial that in, but this is a demo, so I think you get the idea. Let's try the next break.
Well, it hurt to my bones still. I can't blame you, no matter what.
It didn't work that well right here. So you can hear that the low end is compressed to a crazy amount. One thing to know though, while I'm doing this demo, if we have a look at the compressor low control, I'm boosting the signal 10 decibel into the wave shaper. So I don't use this compression settings. It's just silly. Plus that I'm not using the liner, I'm using the soft 2 and I'm using the max of harmonics. So there's a lot of things I do that I normally don't do. And I also have the low pass set at 100. So these things that we hear with the dynamic bypass, that it doesn't work, that would probably work if with more normal settings. But I'm just using this to show you that you can actually dial in detection and response curve that works even with really aggressive settings, so that the dynamic bypass gets a bit better. Because I'll be using Alpha 5 the last week and mastered a lot of tracks with it, and I almost always use automation, and that's why I added this. I don't want to use as much automation. I want to work faster, and this is faster. With this settings, I'm still using automation, but it's way less. It's just like in the intro of tracks maybe, and or yeah, maybe 2 or 3 places instead of having curves going up and down the whole track. Yeah, and you can close this dialog by either clicking the X, or you can push that button again. It's both works. All right, let's listen to the different of the generated harmonics, and to do that we're gonna back off the compression a little bit. Listen to the delta. I know this is low in level, but bear with me. I can let's boost that a little bit. I'm gonna add a plugin. Hold on for a second. I boosted the signal with 6 decibels. If you have a big subwoofers, you're gonna hear some sub bass right now, so just be aware of that. This is the sound of the noise added, and it works. It's a separate oscillator for left and right, so it also adds some stereo width to your low end, which is cool and works really well sometimes. The good thing with the noise is it doesn't add to boominess, stuff like that. It just adds a feeling of the low end being more present, especially on lower speakers. You don't want it at max position though, because then it gets obvious. But around maybe 10 past 12 or something like that as a max position could be a, yeah, use your ears, of course, but I'm usually find myself around 12 o'clock to about 10 past, something like that. All right, let's switch to the original harmonics created, and so you can compare and see how that sounds. They are more resonant as of course, because they origin from the original low end, and by that, yeah, they are resonances. They have more tonality in and than noise has, even if the noise is filtered, so it actually has a kind of tonality in it. I find myself using the noise more often than the other, but both are great, and most often I don't use the harmonics at all. I add that with other plugins. I think that's with the new features. So now I'm gonna answer a question that came about the different auto modes of these two, even if they are kind of experimental features, setting the low end to a good level automatically, not depending on the amount of compression. So it just sets the peak level of the low end, and it also just sets the max peaks. So the peaks may change, but you have set the max peak, so they can't go over a certain value. and yeah, it's an interesting thing to see that the peak value actually matter no matter how compressed the signal is or how much low end there are. It's just, I don't think there's any science behind this. It's just me experimenting with stuff, looking at meters. So use with care, but a lot of people couldn't hear the difference between A1 and A2, and as I explained in the last video, A1 is it just sets the peak level automatically based on the rest of the information in the rest of the spectrum, and A2 Auto 2 does the same thing, but it normalizes the signal going into the plugin. So we're gonna demo that. We're gonna go to another view. Here we go. We're gonna use a plugin from Toucan, and if you're using Reaper and don't have Toucan plugins, go and check Toucan out. He makes a lot of cool stuff for Reaper. So this is an exciter, and let's listen to how this sounds. We're gonna add just too much low end, so this is not gonna sound good. As often when I demo stuff, I do things to sound bad. We're actually gonna use perfect for this because I want to keep the level at the same. So I don't break anything. All right, here we go. We're gonna let's keep the exciter for the high end as well. Here we go.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone.
We have added a crazy amount of low end. It's just too much, but we have level compensated, so it just gets to unbalanced mix. Now, Shape2 Advanced is not made to fix things. It's a compressor. It's a artistic tool. It's not a fixer. If you want to fix low end like this, then use Sub. Sub can take this low end and just control it so that it works in a way. But so that's what Sub is for. Shape2 Advanced it's a low end shaper. So you should shape things, and that means don't just drive it too hard. It's not meant for that. It's meant to just keep things controlled. But the difference between these two will be pretty obvious right now, because we have too much low end, and the Auto 1 won't try to fix or do anything to the signal before going into the wave shaper and stuff. So it will just set the peak levels at where it is, while the Auto 2 will normalize the audio. In this case, since the low end is so it's so high in intensity, it will attenuate it by a lot by normalizing it. So it will take the max peaks, which right now probably are at +6 decibels full scale, and we'll just bring those down to 0 decibel full scale at the max position. Let's start with A1, and I'm gonna switch between them so you can see if you can hear the difference.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. We met in London, I was 17. You were my first love.
I think I need to push it even harder. I I'm already pushing 9 decibels. But we don't hear that huge of a difference between these two.
No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, it's gone. Forgive, move on. Life is way too short. We met.
Yeah, you hear a difference. The auto one is more dense because it doesn't fix the signal before going into the wave shaping. It pretty much just works as a clipper then, so it clips off the tops and make a square wave of things, while the auto 2 will attenuate the signal before going into the wave shaper. So a bit of the density is removed, but it wasn't as obvious as I had hoped for. But that's what it is when you don't plan your videos that well or don't have time to do that. Those are the difference between these two. And Bob Mac, if you since you requested this little black and white control here, have a look at what it's called in MIDI, just for funsies. So when you automating this control, it's called something else. It's not called black and white. It's called something else. It's just because that's your control. All right, that's it. Shape2 Advanced Alpha 6, and I'm soon done with this plugin. It's an amazing plugin, and I love it. And I see you with the next update or other things that I come up with. Bye bye. Have a good day.